Dr. Joseph Mengele, the Angel of Death. Auschwitz was one of the most cruel work and extermination camps that took place during the Holocaust. It is famous for its experimentations done on the Jews that were put in it. The man thought to be responsible for these experiments is Dr. Joseph Mengele. When examining the experiments conducted at Auschwitz, we must look at three things: the personality of Joseph Mengele, the processing and selection of the twin test subjects, and the experiments themselves. People see Joseph Mengele as an evil person, but the truth is, as a child, before the Holocaust, he was very popular and had many friends. He was just another average boy. Joseph Mengele was born the eldest of three boys on March 16, 1911. His early years seemed normal. He was deemed to be an intelligent and popular person in his hometown. By the time he was 24, Mengele had received a Ph.D. from the University of Munich involving anthropology, or the study of people. Joseph Mengele got married on July 28, 1939, to Irene Schonbein. 4 years later, Irene gave birth to Mengele's first and only child, Rolf. Irene divorced Mengele 5 years later after he fled to Buenos Aires in 1949. Once Jews arrived at Auschwitz, there was basically three possible things that could happen. Jews would be sent straight to the gas chamber, they'd be determined fit for work, or they'd be sent to special barracks to await transportation to experimentation labs. Mengele took his turn at the selector ramp, but unlike the other guards, he arrived sober, says Jennifer Rosenberg of the article Mengele's Children, the Twins of Auschwitz. Once twins were spotted, they were separated from their parents and sent to special barracks. Unlike most prisoners at the camp, twins were allowed to keep their clothes and hair, and they were tattooed a special number sequence on their arm. Mengele's presence did not necessarily connote fear in the children. He was often known to appear with pockets full of candy and chocolates, to pat them on the head, to talk to them, and sometimes even play. Many of the children, especially the younger ones, called him Uncle Mengele. Soon after twins were separated from their families, trucks came to take them one of 7 testing facilities. Blood, often in large quantities, was drawn from twins' fingers and arms, and sometimes both their arms simultaneously. The youngest children, whose arms and hands were very small, suffered the most. Blood was drawn from their necks, a painful and frightening procedure. Measurements, eyes, shots, diseases, and surgeries were all things Dr. Mengele would test. After the twins had died, the bodies continued to be studied through autopsies. One day, my twin brother Tibby was taken away from some special experiments. Dr. Mengele had always been more interested in Tibby. I'm not sure why, perhaps because he was the older twin. Mengele made several operations on Tibby. One surgery on his spine left my brother paralyzed. He could not walk no more. Then they took out his sexual organs. After the 4th operation, I did not see Tibby anymore. I cannot tell you how I felt. It is impossible to put into words how I felt. They had taken away my father, my mother, my 2 older brothers, and now my twin. Many surgeries included amputations, removal of organs, or the connecting of other bodies. I've talked about Dr. Joseph Mengele and the terrible experiments he conducted by talking about the personality of Joseph Mengele, the processing and selection of the twin test subjects, and the experiments themselves. I think everybody should know about the terrible things that happened during the Holocaust, so we can try to prevent anything like this from ever happening ever again.